Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. If you subscribed for Star Trek reviews, I'm sorry. I've made it no secret that I am obsessed with 80s My Little Pony these days. It's something that I grew up with and I really enjoyed, but I never took a deep dive into it until recent years. I started collecting more of the toys. As you can see, it's become quite a problem. And of course, I watched the entire TV show, which is something I didn't do as a kid because there weren't a lot of reruns and there weren't very many tapes to rent. Now, what I didn't know until very recently was that in the UK, they had a line of comic books. They didn't have any in the US, but the one in the UK was extremely long-lived. From 1985 to 1993, they had 223 issues under the My Little Pony title and a concurrent series called My Little Pony and Friends that had 51 issues. The My Little Pony and Friends title wasn't just My Little Pony and included other cartoons from the time. And what do you know, I just happened to get a big old pile of these comics. I started reading them and I noticed pretty quickly that things got a little bit strange. These comics include several short and ongoing stories, activities, and other random things for kids to enjoy, but they also have their own continuity going on that's separate from the continuity that was in the cartoon. You'd have a lot more ponies, including several UK exclusives, and apparently, because it was developed separate from the cartoon, a lot of the stories are taken from the card backs, which could get pretty weird. I mean, card backs on toys tend to have very basic stories. They're not meant to expand on any large continuity, but it's really interesting to see how they develop these into more fleshed out stories, or at least as fleshed out as these comics get. So here are some of the differences, courtesy of mylittlewiki.org. Almost every pony had magic, not just unicorns. So unicorns, not so special anymore. They also can't wink, which is their way of saying teleporting.
Hey, no fair! Baby Ribbon winked out!
Which I always thought was really funny in the cartoon because they'd have to come up with reasons why they couldn't just wink out of traps. It became increasingly tenuous.
Can't you unicorns just disappear and reappear outside the net? Unicorns can only wink out through empty space. We can't wink through stuff like this net, you know?
Here was a big one that I noticed. Majesty was one that was not in the cartoon. She came with the castle playset, but she is apparently the leader pony in the comic. She's in almost every issue. They always go to her about their problems. It seems like they can't do anything without going to Majesty to see what's up. The ponies also never moved to Paradise Estate. They just used it as a vacation home. They seem to like keeping them in the castle and be more fantastical and medieval with stuff. Later issues, they start moving towards what My Little Pony Tales was doing.
You got them all to drink their milk!
Yeah, but if anyone found out, our reputations would be ruined forever.
My Little Pony Tales.
But again, it's kind of amusing because in the cartoon, they were in the castle for just the early specials, and then immediately they're like, well, we got a new toy to sell, so they're in Paradise Estate. Forget that castle thing, they're just gonna abandon it. The pony personalities are also different. Wind Whistler was sillier, which is a shame for me because I feel like while in the cartoon they didn't really develop their personalities very well, Wind Whistler was pretty strong. It was pretty clear what she was all about. She was a favorite of mine. I loved her dearly, and apparently we get a silly, silly Wind Whistler now.
It is illogical to begin a long journey just as the sun is setting. Logic clearly dictates that we save ourselves. Logic alone dictated my actions.
She's no longer Spock the pony, which is a big loss, I think. Shady being more confident, I can get behind, because honestly, it got pretty annoying. She was like, oh, I can't do anything, and then she learned she could do stuff, and then in the next episode she's like, oh shucks, I got no talent.
What can I do that's of any use to anyone?
There's also a larger cast of non-pony characters. This was something I started to notice pretty quickly, is that they kept referencing characters that I'm like, where did this come from? Who's this? The comics fit in the same continuity as the UK children's books published by World International Publishing Limited, such as The Stolen Shadow, The Crossweather Witch, and The Man in the Moon. So they have their own, like, UK-based pony universe. Almost all Year 2 and Year 3 ponies appeared in the comics, even ponies who were never sold in the UK. That I find very interesting. Like, do you think, like, kids in the UK knew that these were ponies that they couldn't purchase and felt like they got shortchanged? Surprisingly, these comics have been pretty hard to get a hold of. I have a handful of issues here. I found some copies online. I would love to get physical purchases of them. If you know where I can go to get them, let me know in the comments. So we're going to be taking a look at the first issue to see just how weird things get right off the bat. And if you like this, maybe we'll do some more in the future. If you'll join me on this incredibly nerdy journey, let's dive into the My Little Pony comics universe. I tried to find as many of the ponies from the first story as I could. Unfortunately, Majesty is not one of the ones I own, which is a shame because, again, she's like the main character of the My Little Pony comics. My Little Pony issue number 1, a special present. Every fortnight! What does fortnight mean other than a game that kids like? Every 2 weeks. You stay here, you stay. Every 2 weeks, little kids from the UK got issues of My Little Pony. What a magical time to be alive. So this is from 1985. Every issue, or at least every issue that I've seen, has the same pony at the top, which is supposed to be Surprise, but for some reason the first 1, 2, or 3 issues they didn't put her cutie mark on. So who the hell is she supposed to be? On the back, we have Sparkler's Corner. This is a recurring segment they'd have on the back of each issue with a different pony. This time, Sparkler is asking us about things we collect. I wonder if anyone reading this had any collection of some sort. An insane, large, sad collection that they put on the internet for everyone to see. Well, this is the first instance of pony feathers! They have a lot of exclamations in this that I've never heard in any other pony media. Pony feathers! Which seems to be like, oh, great, but I think sometimes they use it in a negative connotation. So maybe it just means like, you know, whatever the context of the sentence, it could have any emotion you want. Pony feathers? And not every pony has feathers, that's just the Pegasus. The Pegasi. Like, Glory doesn't have feathers. What's that about? We also have another feature on the back page, Seashell Spot. Here, I found her. This is one of 2 ponies they did in the sitting pose like this. Kinda weird. Okay, so she's responding to Sparkler's segment, saying that she collects shells, and then giving you a little craft to build a shell thing. Not a lot of instructions. Presumably you're supposed to add googly eyes to it, but does not specify. Just shows some shells, and then you glue it together into some sort of creature, I guess. So the first story begins actually on the front cover. I've never seen this in other comics, but apparently you need to read the front and then it continues what's on the front inside the issue. So the ponies are at Dream Castle Garden celebrating Majesty's birthday. Queen Majesty, everything's about Majesty. As we all know, look at her in her little horse blanket. So proud of herself. Happy birthday, Majesty! So Lickety Split wants to get her a special present. What is this special present? She makes the mountains turn into ice cream. This is a power she has. She can click her heels together and make mountains of ice cream. This is amazing. I wish I had your powers. They also make her and this other one. Who's this other guy? Yeah, I don't remember who the duck is, but both of them are a light pink color, but for some reason they made them purple here. And this mountain of ice cream just looks delicious. But what happens, Majesty is enjoying this giant scoop of ice cream, and then Spike has got to come in and ruin it. Immediately, he falls into this ice cream mountain and almost kills himself. Aw, what a dope. This is what really gets me. Majesty is like dunking on him for his idiocy. She's like, that'll teach you not to be greedy, cause you walked over there to eat some of this ice cream. This was all for Majesty. He got greedy and wanted some for himself, but this was the royal ice cream. But she spoke gently. Poor Spike had had a fright. I love when you can tell that this is written for British kids. It's very charming. Spike was covered in ice cream, so she carried him to the waterfall. That's another one of their play sets that I don't have because it's really rare and expensive. But water would come out of it, and that sounds pretty awesome. And it came with that duck one that I don't remember the name of. No, Blossom was in here too! I almost forgot Blossom. Here, I'll put 3 of them. Posy and Blossom make some garland flowers, and they give it to Spike. He deserves a reward for being dumb. That's the story. Is this interesting to anyone? The flying dragon. I gotta replace the ponies. Glory, you're on my last nerve. This is gonna be a constant issue. So what happens in the flying dragon? Surprise, surprise, it's about Spike. So Firefly's doing a little dippity-doos or whatever, and then Spike's like, oh man, I wish I could fly. And then Bowtie is laughing at him because, you dipshit, you idiot, only flying ponies can fly. Apparently there are no birds or insects or other flying creatures in this universe. Only flying ponies. And kites. Skyflyer made sure to let them know about that. He's stupid. But Spike's really depressed about it. So Bowtie's like, oh, I know how to make you feel better. I'm gonna tie some bows on you. Some bows. Will that help? Will that help, Spike? Will that help you fly? But surprise, he goes in the lake, 'cause why would the ribbons make him fly? And then this pisses off Lemon Drop, 'cause he landed in Lemon Drop's new I love this angry pony face. Like, they're like, oh, she's smiling. She's supposed to be angry. Don't worry. I added an angry eyebrow. She's like, oh, you ruined my jump. Why were you being so stupid? And he's like, oh, I was trying to fly. And then she's like, you're silly. And then he cries. They make him cry. And then you see Majesty in the background like, hee. Bullies. They're all bullies. And she's like, all right, I'm going to make your wish come true. Because again, all the ponies are magic in this. So Peachy brings over an old washing basket and then some balloons, and then they put him in there, and then they send him off into the sun, much like the ending of Cats. They had a page where kids could submit their drawings of their own ponies. So we have some from Claire Cooper from West Lothian, Scotland. Melody, Thistle, and Rosebud. This is so cute! I love that they did their own little ponies, and they got featured, and I bet she was so excited. The Enchanted Mirror. Okay, here's where we start to get into some lore. And this really is part of the reason I started doing this, because, like, I honestly... You know what? This is part of the reason I started doing this, because honestly, this threw me for a loop. They're throwing some kind of crazy stuff in this story that really challenged what I knew or just assumed about the lore of My Little Pony. Okay, so some of the ponies have been called to Dream Castle by Majesty using her magic horn. And then they're like, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, something's wrong, Majesty needs our help, what can we do? They suggest things that are varying degrees of useful. Firefly's like, I could do some backwards loops, which I don't know what that's gonna do. Moon Dancer is like, oh, I'll use my magic light and light up the place. And then Twilight's like, I'll give you a star to make your wish come true. Which is like way more powerful than any of that other stuff. So it turns out Majesty didn't need any help. She actually just wants to take them around because tonight is a night of magic and enchantment and secrets and stuff. Some vague thing about magic and secrets that she's going to tell them about. Sparkler finds a magic stone that changes color to put in her collection. And then here's where things get kind of crazy. So Firefly and Glory decide to go upstairs. And they're like, aw man, I really wanted to help someone. Instead we're going on some dumb scavenger hunt around this castle. What are we gonna do? And then that's when baby Firefly and baby Glory, who doesn't even get drawn in, come out of the mirror. And that's how they were born? Originated? I'm a little confused. See, I was always under the impression, and this is what it was in the cartoon, that these were the children of the adult versions of them.
You'd better give our babies back their shadows or else!
But apparently, in the comic universe, they're weird alternate universe mirror babies. Like, I don't think that the mirror created them, because then the baby starts saying that they were wishing that they had a special friend that would help them out. So apparently this implies there is another universe on the other side of that mirror. I don't know if it's populated by babies or what. We'll have to see if the comics ever come back to this, but this is absolutely insane. They could have gone the easy route, but instead they decided that the baby ponies were weird mirror things. And I kind of love that. And that's where the story ends. They're just saddled with these kids now, I guess. Does that make them their children now? Like, maybe it does fit into the continuity of the show. I just didn't know that the babies came from a mirror first. It's like the stork for them. Sparkler is upset. Sparkler, I guess, is a collector of things. She found a charm. There's no intro to that. She just found a little golden fish thing just sitting around. But she was so distracted by this fish thing that she didn't notice her entire garden being pilfered. So her garden's stolen. And then we get more ponies crying. So Spike offers to help. He thinks he might know where the collection is. And it turns out a toad stole it at the end. A new show ring. So Lemon Drop's making a show ring. Spike's an idiot as usual. He thinks it's actual castle doors. Dummy dum dum. This is where we're introduced to Duck Soup, which was one of the little sidekick animals that they came with. I just love he's named Duck Soup. He likes the duck-shaped hedge. Surprise. And then Cotton Candy's like, I like the one with the flowers. So she's got this devilish look in her eye because she wants to eat the flowers. Don't eat those flowers, Cotton Candy! Don't! Tickle, please, will you go and ask the Weather Witch to water my flower jumps? Who's the Weather Witch? They don't tell us who that is. We're just supposed to take it that they know a witch that can control the weather? We're just thrown into the deep end with the Weather Witch? We're supposed to have read the book that introduces her? Ugh. They expect us to do a bunch of homework to know what's going on? I don't think so. Firefly's doing some loops again. She knows what she likes. All my jumps will be ruined. They'll wither and die, cried Lemon Drop with a smile on her face. Majesty, do something! I can't do anything on my own, Majesty! And then Majesty's like, yeah, Medley can do it. I did my part. And then Medley apparently can control the rain. But I thought that her powers had to do with music. It says that she beat her hooves is how she makes it happen, but I guess she's singing a song at the same time. A little confusing how that works. And then all of the show rings don't wither and die. The end. And I guess Seashell was there. Oh, you could get a picture disc? It looks awesome! I bet all the songs on this suck, though.
Who's a silly pony?
Got a silly pony.
Who is
Applejack.
bumping into posts and falling into trenches? Who is
Applejack.
I don't have any way of displaying the sea ponies. They came with these shell things that I don't have, so they just kind of sit there dead. Anyway, I can never figure out which sea ponies are which. I only have 3 of them. I don't know. It's these ones in this last part of the issue. Welcome to Ponyland. I guess they go on a rainbow to visit Ponyland and sing for some fish. I don't know. Very plotless, that one. So that was issue number 1 of My Little Pony, the comic. I had a lot of fun checking this out. I know the other issues are a lot of fun too. If you enjoyed this, please let me know. We'll cover more of these. If not, just check out some of the comics yourself. I highly recommend it. I think the art is extremely charming, and I'm sure little kids back then really enjoyed reading these. I think it was probably an amazing time in the 80s to early 90s. I look forward to reading more of these issues and continuing my pony obsession. So let me know what you thought. I'll be seeing you next time. Pony feathers!